Okay.
We're on it.
Okay. Well, I'll call this special meeting of the Commissioners for budget reasons to order. These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes, tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. So, our first budget meeting with the county IT department, Jerome Scapati. Gary, you want to discuss your budget, or any special request out of the ordinary, or sudden increases the project in the 21 budget?
Well, I would first like to start by thanking the members for having me here today. Are we discussing personnel or no personnel? No personnel. Okay. Okay. We here at IT have requested, I wouldn't say, the only increase that I'm seeing is in our cellular account due to, working remotely and stuff like that from IT. We have more devices that we've added to our cellular plan, so we're going to have to bump that up a little bit. The only other major increase, which is just cyclical in IT, is our security software, like antivirus and intrusion detection for email and stuff like that. Typically, we run that for a 3-year cycle, and we're in the cycle where it's got to get renewed. Now, we're looking at 250 licenses for antivirus across the entire county. So that would be an increase, obviously, from last year. Well, not even from last year, from the last 2 years.
So is that reflected here in the budget request?
It is. I believe be under 5,053.05, where it says the majority of our backup and all security software will expire in 2021, hence the larger renewal cost numbers. So that's certainly an increase. I mean, that would pop out, but again, like I said, it's cyclical. It's not like it's anything new. We have to back up our data across all the locations, and we have to provide antivirus for all the locations. The only other, I would say that the perhaps the recycling line item in repair and maintenance should be increased because we, as you guys know, we're just wrapping up a conversion from Windows 7 to Windows 10, so we had a lot of the equipment, and there's still some stragglers, so I could see a little bit more being spent there next year. And from what I'm hearing from some of the other locations is they're going to start to have some equipment that they're going to be needing to be recycled.
Jerry, are the departments billed for their recycling?
They are. We just
Okay.
had one last, I think, Tuesday, and we had workforce, ourselves, courts, and the prison. So when I set that all up, we tell the people, okay, we're going to have so much from the courts and so much from, and then when I get a bill, it's like they weigh everything out separately and everything. So yeah, then we just send the bill to them.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times, if there's one or two things,
Right.
we just eat it.
Eat it, sure.
The only other thing that I see, well, I shouldn't say that. I always budget for a high-speed printer, with the hope that we don't need to do that because if it takes, if it expires during, we're putting tax bills on it, then we'd have to have money in contingency. And Jeff always throws it somewhere for, if it should go. I mean, thank God it's been holding up and we've been good with that. Like last year, we had been budgeting for air conditioning and never needing it until last year when it died. So it typically happens. The only other thing that I see this year, I know Chris had talked to me prior to this about, what do I see out there on the horizon, was we're looking at, well, not looking, we're going to need to replace our video surveillance server. It's the server that holds all the video from this building's cameras. And that's typically a sizable amount of hard drive space, so hence, a higher price tag than your basic server. Other than that,
Is that the one in the sheriff's office?
no, that's the one in our rack
It's right
here.
here.
Yeah. It houses the camera up on the roof, the ramp door, downstairs at the security, the front door, and tax claim cameras, all of that video. Oh, and the one in the commissioner's office.
Doesn't that tie into the bigger discussion, though, of who's gonna be monitoring all the cameras? I know the sheriff has had this vision of having a central,
Yes, yes, I
hub
mean,
of,
I know that there is that discussion out there, but, where that leads, I'm just need to be prepared if it doesn't go anywhere, that we have something to
Right.
capture our video with at least. Because we got a couple of cameras that, Rocky had suggested one down here, and with each additional camera, then there's additional storage space that's required.
Yeah, and I think that's what is needed here, and I think back to that thing, having everything linked in together, but then that goes to adding more people to watch the cameras.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's here, we got the security guard downstairs and even the office people that are sort of watching everything, when somebody comes in the back. So that's gonna wind up being a bigger expense to us too.
Sure, and again, I'm not obviously gonna speak of that here,
Right.
other than if we're gonna not do that, I need to be prepared to purchase a piece of equipment to house at least what we're responsible for in this building. Beyond that, hey, if it's a bigger picture, then obviously we don't need this service.
But now, if we would get that, that could be linked to the one in the,
Well, it would be my hope, well, right now it is, like the sheriff and, cause we're dealing with two different networks. So, the sheriff can view our feeds and vice versa. So, the issue is, okay, Rocky says, hey, I need to look at the footage from the parking lot, then that falls to me. Because we have that footage on our server and I have to retrieve it. Same way with 76, I got an issue now with Jim Thorpe Police and something happened over the weekend. I go down there and get that video, because it's that building, that'll be taken care of, in the future, but be that as it may. I mean, other than that, if we're not discussing personnel,
Jerry, see that web hosting fee goes from 0 to 6,000? So, and a follow-up to that is gonna be, how effective of a website do we have for getting information out to the public and for them having access to the information?
that is a guess, to be
Right.
honest with you, because as you know, we're looking at redoing that.
Right.
So it's possible that that may go away, because we may not host the site,
Right.
XYZ website may do that. So I don't know what that number is. I'm based on what we're looking at from GoDaddy, for,
But didn't we have GoDaddy before?
yeah, sure,
So what happened, when did it go away?
it didn't. But if
Was there no cost now then?
no, what I'm saying is, when I say if it goes away, if we're gonna redo the website as discussed,
Right.
in some of the emails, then GoDaddy may not host the site. I don't know if CCAP has, people that they may host it on their own or whatever. So that 6,000 could go away if we continue down the road of redoing the website.
Yeah, because the ballpark, it looks like from the three folks that Nicholas and I have been interacting with for 4 or 5 months now, it's between, again, to redo the website, it's gonna be between $25,000
Sure.
and $50,000.
This is just to host it.
Right, that's 25 to 50, and if we're gonna seriously consider that, we probably have to budget for it, at least put it in there as a place mark or an earmark, right?
I think I did, Jeff, not,
The 6,000 is.
I think there's something in there about website rewrite down in, I don't have any, capital stuff here,
Nope.
to be honest with you.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't have that, so,
Okay,
Because I have to do a complete RFP for that because of the amount it goes to. I've been talking to CCAP and those other two companies, and I'll be honest, only about 25% through even writing an RFP, because it's actually pretty technical and complicated.
it certainly is.
And some of it's Greek, trying to learn some Greek, again, that I don't understand, and trying to work with them to help better educate me. And it's gonna be, I think, 6 months before, could even get it out on the street if we go forward.
Jeff, I don't see any really major capital improvements in any of these. All I see is major or minor. Is that
Yeah,
separate,
not-
or is
not
it
in-
just
not
because
in-
the youth departments didn't have a major
what's,
capital?
you talking IT or you talking other ones?
Well, all of them on this page that we have that we're gonna talk
No,
about today.
most of them don't. I mean, there is some,
I
but
think the
no.
roof in prison will be one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
major, but I mean,
yeah.
on Jerry's,
Yeah.
I mean, on Jerry's, the items I listed out, you already covered the website hosting fee. The other one was, he asked for, the 2020 budget for computer consulting services was 12,000, his request is 20,000. So
Oh,
we
yeah,
discuss
sure.
that line item.
I should discuss that as well, I forgot
Yep.
about that, so.
That's just on my list, so you guys should talk about that.
So is website a capital improvement if we do a
Yes.
website redesign?
Correct.
Because it's over the,
Anything that's over 5, yes.
Oh,
5
okay,
grand.
over 5.
Yeah, the difference between 7,000 and 8,000 is below 5,000 goes in 7,000, below 5,000 goes in the 7,000 range of accounts. Anything over 5,000 goes in the 8,000 range of accounts. That way we capture the capital assets to put on the capital asset list. So,
So do we want to stick website redesign in there as a placeholder for discussion, or?
I have it on my
the
list,
hope-
so.
The hope was to use CARES funding for that, but this is what happened. It takes it 3 to 6 months to redo it once it's done, so it became unrealistic. you
Yeah,
know,
just
and I can look at whether or not
Yeah.
it's, I can look at whether or not we can pay for it out of the capital
Yeah.
project fund too, so. But I have a note.
As far as consultings go, I'm just looking at, another year where we're going to be doing some stuff that's a higher level than we are. As you guys may or may not know, we just wrapped up some major projects with, GIS and, obviously with this, coronavirus stuff, we had some issues with, security, heightened with elections and everything else, where we rely on some consultants to consult on, for us and say, okay, you should make modifications here and this and that and the next thing. I don't see that going away, so I wanna be covered enough to have money in my budget to do that. The other thing that, what jogged my memory with Jeff is, it's not necessarily part of my budget, but I know when Kim gets here, we're also in the midst of that rewrite of tax assessment. I think she has money in her budget, I think this is where it went this year, not in mine, Jeff.
Correct.
So, we already surpassed this year the first hurdle in getting that old Access 95 database, which we hang our revenue on, converted to SQL. In the event, God forbid, that database,
if I don't mind, since Kim is up next, if we have anything else to discuss, if we could call Kim in, because she's gonna be an integral part of that discussion.
sure, yeah.
So,
I'm good then, it's from my perspective.
yeah, I'd rather have her here, so
Yeah,
we're
no
all
problem.
on the same
Okay,
page
yep.
instead of talking about it
That
twice,
makes sense.
so. Let me just double check, I don't think these people are gonna wait outside on the.
I told Corinne to make him sit outside till we come out and get him, but I don't think,
It's pretty early.
I don't think it's 9:30 yet.
No, but I'll see if she is available by chance.
Oh, no, I didn't know if you wanted me to pause this, or just leave it run.
Just leave it.
Run, okay.
Yeah,
Just remember it's on.
yep.
Yeah, that's really
Don't be
intended for
talking
me.
about Wayne when he's out of the room. Because actually Kim's not gonna take long, so.
Should we switch seats?
No, I'm good. I'm just upset for Mary Ann, because I told her, make sure you watch me.
All right. Watch me, I'm gonna be on TV.
I send out stuff to all my grandkids and everything else, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
Paps can be on TV.
Okay, because we gotta get the audit report issued back. So there's gonna be a management representation.
When is this? The personnel stuff, first of the year, or?
I don't,
Annual salary reports.
yeah.
And I think part of the
That
challenge.
looks like mine.
Yeah,
I wrote a
that
book.
is yours, I have yours.
That's right.
I was hoping like short,
All right,
because you,
well, I'm sure.
I mean.
Oh, I thought you were trying to get in.
A little bit.
A lot of it's all they can come in when we call, and it's public meeting, so.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know it was locked.
Kim will be right up. Jeff, what line 9 item number would they use if department head has to, let's say they have recycling for computer equipment? What would that fall under then?
Maintenance, computer hardware.
Under maintenance?
Yep.
Okay.
5,053.65.
5,000?
53.65.
Oh, okay, that's what we talked about before, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Jerry, you really didn't have anything that big.
No, thank God, we did most of it. This was my big, I thought, big budget year, this year. You know what I mean, with
Yeah.
stuff that we had to replace. And I appreciate you guys, making some concessions there to get Jason taken care of with, you know, probably more than we had planned on, but at least we did it right. You guys did it right this year. That we're good, we're set up for a while.
While you're here, I know we're not talking about elections yet, but you're looking for the high-speed printer, right? Or
Well, the money for it, you know what I
Money
mean?
for it,
Obviously,
but
we use it basically once a year in February to print
Right.
60-some thousand pages, and then after that, we don't, so.
with the issue in the election is what I'm getting at with all the printing they have to do now. So, maybe in the meantime, touch base with Lisa and, you know, because the one she had died, so I don't know if it was put in there offhand. I didn't get her
Well, she should be
department
getting
yet.
it. If she has the opportunity to get that this year, she should get it this year. We're gonna have to do the COVID grant.
Good point.
I know her color laser printer went down, and we had one we replaced for her. I don't know about her copier, high-speed printer that, you know, like, you know, the floor model, I don't know what's up with that. That went 2 years, man? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, now's the time to look at it.
Nope.
Okay, Kim?
Make sure we got you on for the grandkids, right? Right, didn't you say that? They're all watching and
They're all
Marianne's
watching,
watching? And
Yeah, fine. We have Kim Steigerwald, our department head from tax assessment right now, and we're talking with Kim about the computer programs in tax assessment. And you were up next anyway. Instead of talking about it twice with you and Jerry, call you up now so we can discuss the computer programs that you need in your office down there under your budget, or what you're requesting anyway. So,
Kim and I have discussed this yearly, and we are still in agreement in that the rewrite should proceed. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. Really, what I shared with you guys is that the SQL rewrite is complete. They took card data and put it in the SQL. This week, she's going to get UserProg, which is her daily program that she uses for maintenance, address changes, property changes, assessment changes. The program that we bill from, she's gonna start testing the old version linking to the new SQL database in the event of some catastrophic loss. While all the time continuing through this year's funding and then next year's, what we have allotted for, the conversion of, I'm gonna say, 7 databases into what we're gonna refer to as a switchboard, where her people will have the choices on the screen of what to do. Address changes, send notices, change assessment, homestead, schedule appeals. All of those are separate databases. All of them are written in Access. What we want to do, what I wanted to do is get rid of the dependency on Microsoft Access, because they change versions every couple of years. So I don't want to have a program, I don't want to end up down the road, whether I'm here or not, with the same situation we are now, where we're gonna have to rewrite something because we can't use this version of Access to open Homestead. Or where we're at now, where we're running virtual software, Windows XP, on a Windows 10 machine, just so we could run that software. That's old. It's in Access 95. I mean, this program was developed in 1994. So it's time that, you know, we start looking at getting it to a point where it's more versatile for her to use, and we're not so reliant on changing versions of software. Hence, I
Are
think
we
you put
still
20 in.
dealing with the program that was put in place for when we did the reassessment in '99? So, and that was an old DOS program initially, correct? And Tyler, did they upgrade that then?
There's two. You want to take it or want me to do it?
No, you know what happens to me when I talk computers.
There's two pieces of software in play in tax assessment. CAMA, which is the software that was put in 2000 for the reassessment that values the property. It can't change because that's the base year. So that has gone through some revs, and we're, you know, it's Windows based now. It's written in a pervasive software, which is a SQL relational database. It's not a Microsoft software, but regardless, pervasive is, you know, one of the three. It's pervasive, SQL, and Oracle. But they use that. They can't change. We also have hooks between Universe, which is the CAMA software, and her Access user prog, whereby those values are relation back and forth. So there's technically two pieces of software that her staff uses. One, the value of the properties. Once it spits out a value, then they enter that into the maintenance program, which is only land building total. Everything else is done in the maintenance where, you know, they'll note, there's notes fields in there that they could say they were out of the property estate and anything else. So I think we put another 20 for next year in there, Jeff, for the rewrite.
I don't have anything in the assessment office. I don't have anything in assessment's budget, so, that I see.
No, I think I put it in mine. I don't know why it's not there.
Yeah, I don't have anything, that's why, I don't have anything for the SQL server you were talking about, or the server for surveillance that you talked about earlier, and I don't have anything for, I don't have anything for this
Yeah, I was wondering
discussion
when
either,
I was wondering when I got this, I'm like, where the heck is my capital stuff? It's not even here.
No, you have nothing, there was nothing in yours for equipment, you have zeros in.
Well, that'd be under, 8130, I think, right?
8,100. Right now, is your.
Well, that's the equipment. I thought there was like
8130.
PCs or something like that. I don't know, put the stuff in there. I don't know where it went, but I don't know, put it in there.
Do you have a copy of your?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. I didn't print a copy when I did it.
Oh, he has what he put in because I printed it off the system, that's
Yeah.
what's in the system.
Oh,
That's how it gets put in.
Okay.
There is no paper copy anymore, you put everything in the computer, so what's printed out that each of you has is what was entered.
Well, then I apologize.
I mean, you
'cause I know I put in there for the video surveillance. Well, you know, whether I saved it, maybe, you know, I did something wrong when I advanced it or something like
I
that.
don't know where the rewrite this year would be in charge of the capital projects fund too, so.
Correct.
It's in 5167, it's under other projects. So that's where we've been charging it, we've been charging it in the 5167 fund. So I just need to have that capital list to be able to budget it, so. So how much do you want to budget for this continuation, this?
Another 20 we said for 2021, and I'm gonna say that server's gonna run at least 12 for the video surveillance. If they're not in there, those are best guess, but again, I thought in that capital thing, I put numbers in for the rewrite, a guess of, I don't know what, but obviously that's not, it's not on Jeff, that's probably on me and not saving it or not advancing it, or, you know, maybe I got busy and didn't hit the save button, which I know they said you gotta do, and, you know,
So
when
we
it.
just have Jerry go back in, right, and put his cap.
No, I had to add it.
I
You
can't-
have to add it.
Yeah, I can't go
now
back in.
he's,
once-
he's locked out now.
Okay.
Once it's advanced to me,
Okay.
everybody else is locked out of being able to make changes,
Okay.
so.
So other than those two things, I can't even, I don't know what else I would have put in there. But Jeff, wasn't there something about the high-speed printer in there too? No.
Yeah, when you were talking about it.
Yeah, to me, I'm like,
thinking, well,
It's not
I think it's only
You
gonna
said
say
that was in last year though, too.
it was in last year's, yeah.
It's in
Well,
capital.
but he put it in.
It's in
oh,
5167.
Okay.
What was the amount on the high-speed printer, do you remember?
No, it's all right, John.
I'll look back on last year's number.
I think it was 18, I think was last year's number.
Jerry, a crazy question, is there any reason why you wouldn't just rent a high-speed printer for a month from Edwards?
No?
I mean, should we at least do a cost comparison? You know, put it in there as a capital, but in the meantime, look at doing a 1-month rental of a high-speed printer.
Could certainly talk to,
Edward.
you know, Mark about that. I mean, because you're right, I mean, typically, we do very little copying and printing on a machine that is required for that size job.
I mean, we still wanna talk, like Wayne said, we still need to talk to Lisa in elections to see what demand she might have, but
Yeah, because that is gonna be an issue, because look at, like, the ballots were done. I mean, that they could get them printed, we could actually print our own ballots, and when they give us the okay on Friday, they could
we
be
could be
printed on
printing
Friday.
them versus.
Instead of waiting till the following week, we don't know what we're gonna run into.
Well, I think along those lines, and again, I wasn't consulted or anything like that, but I know there's pieces of equipment where it does everything. You put blank paper in here and out there, it's folded, ready to go in the mail. So I mean,
Right.
you can just do everything in one piece of equipment. Now, I know Lisa said sometimes the ballot size changes, so there you get into, you know,
So
some,
this machine wouldn't be able to do that. I was thinking.
the one that I
one time
budgeted
a
for?
year.
No.
She needs it a couple times a year, move it.
Right,
and then
yeah.
For that one time a year, you may have to go there and do your printing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And I'm
because she
sure-
has the folder now anyway, we also have the folder, but I mean, again, we use the folder twice a year. Well, you guys use it too, throughout the year, so that probably should stay here.
Let's do a follow-up like that on the printer and see,
Yeah,
like
see
Chris
what-
said,
Yeah.
possible rent.
Sure.
Or see what Lisa, needs are in the future because of that one going on her and we send another used one down that wasn't being used, so let's look into it and, before we make any final budget decisions then.
Okay. Well, like I said, the one that I sent down there was a printer, not a copier.
Oh,
Well,
right.
yeah.
Whatever
okay.
died was her personal printer.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But regardless,
But I think you're right, she did mention to me
Changing.
about a copier or a high-speed thing to do ballots and stuff like that, and I said, well, make sure you look at, you know, what she did, she was on board with that, something that could do everything she needed, you know what I mean, turnkey, put the paper in here, out there, it's ready to
And,
mail.
and time like that is saving us money.
Sure.
You have something like that,
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
it's-
okay.
Okay?
Anything, on that, the computer program, and I think we've been nursing that thing along ever since the assessment. And how long is that gonna last? How long is Tyler gonna be able to keep using, converting that information or updating their computer program? Are we gonna be looking at something down the road within the next few years that is gonna be a major expense in the programming? And the last thing I wanna do is get into a reassessment or anything, but
Well, that'd be the
is that
only
what
way.
it takes to replace it?
That's the only thing that you would need to do to replace the software, is do a reassessment, because like I said, those algorithms, those values, all of that data is based in 2000. I mean, that's the
And
nature of the
there's
beast.
been companies that say they can do it, but they can't do it. They can't make it exact. It has to be exact of what it was in 2000.
So I mean, Tyler, I don't think it's going anywhere. We pay what, 12 a year for maintenance and support, something like that?
17 now.
Ellie, you should know, because it always comes to you, but
17.2.
17.
17. So that's, anything that they change, upgrade, and, you know, come out with new stuff is covered under that, maintenance agreement with Tyler. But if you're looking to replace Tyler, you can't.
Right.
I'm not looking to replace it, I'm just, there's some duplication of work for you in the office, correct? Or it's not as
Yeah.
bad as it used to be.
I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't know duplication, the only duplication is, I don't even know, you don't even have to rekey those values anymore, do you?
Yeah, we put them in both systems.
Okay.
But Jason also uses that information for the stuff on the web. You know, the maps and the property record cards link up with that. So he uses that also.
He also uses the
Oh,
database that we
how
converted.
much- How much does it tie in with GIS, with tax claim and recorder deeds? Is there
Just GIS.
just GIS? You don't have anything, any connectivity with tax claim on information?
They have
and
a
recorder
lookup.
deeds?
They have a lookup.
They just can look up
They
on
can
the
just
other
look up
system.
on their system, on their
Okay.
desktops. They go in and they grab stuff from, I export data for them once a year that they grab for their delinquents.
Okay. All right.
So, that's been in place since, you know, they decided to go with on Infocom, I think, that's their delinquents and stuff like that. So once a year, I send a file to Renee, and Infocom comes in, grabs that file and updates her records and stuff like that. But it's all contingent on that, I mean, it's all contingent on that access database. I mean, that's what you base all of your revenue, well, a good chunk of your revenue, your tax revenue on, and then those values that are in there that are generated by CAMA and put into the Access and SQL databases are used by Jason for many things. And Jeff, top tens, that all comes out of that database when he does his stuff. School districts call me, the billing's all based on that Access database, and homestead, appeals, your reports. I'm missing a couple, I know that. STEB, all comes out of there. So it's pretty comprehensive, that piece of software.
Okay. All right.
Getting that all together, I think would be.
Yeah, that would
It's
be,
gonna be-
a Jerry Scarpetti legacy, because then I could go, because it's just getting fragmented, and Kim and I have talked about it for many, many years. And you know, the fact that we took a step to do it last year, thank you. I mean, it's just, we had to do it. It was to the point where if that Access database crashed, we'd be in a world of hurt,
Yeah.
so.
And then that also holds like an audit trail of everything that was done, where the system from Tyler doesn't.
That was the main thing, I think, that sold us, or that we didn't like about even the higher priced Tyler product back in the day in 2000, like, didn't do that. And that saved us in historically, well, who changed that assessment? Oh, you did. No, I didn't. Yeah, right there it says you did. You logged in this date, this time, and changed that
You need
field.
the paper trail.
So,
And by law, you have to have that.
Yeah. All right, anything else on that?
so Jeff, am I getting you stuff, or are you good now on the ballparks? It's 20.
I just need to know the high-speed printer amount.
Okay, well, we're gonna.
And
table
then
that.
rental, whatever, you guys can discuss that, but if you're gonna put in a number, I need a high-speed printer number.
Yeah, I'll go back and see if I can find any information on that, on whether it was 20 or 50 for the readout, but we'll go from there. Am I good?
You're good, I think?
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good too, or, are we done?
No,
No?
No, you go into the hot seat.
You go into the hot seat.
You go into Jerry's seat.
no, you're,
Children
okay.
only have one.
You're all right there. Okay,
Don't let me out though. I'm done.
all right, we're not here for personal reasons, just so you're aware of that before we start. Ken. So,
Jerry, can you get me the front assessment number, please?
information we have here today,
Tanner, just.
basically,
No, just the total number.
is here.
Now?
talk about your budget, where you're seeing, what you're
Give it to them, it's on my
projecting,
desk.
and what you're looking at for increases and any minor equipment, capital. I don't see any capital expenses in there or anything like that. So the telephone staff training duplicates, I know I did, that's all up slightly, but one of the things I looked at last night was your license fees. Is that, how much is a license fee for each one, for the four assessors?
I believe the last time it was 250.
Oh, okay. So that's covered
So-
under that request then?
Right.
Okay. Okay. And then
Dawn hasn't actually been licensed yet either.
she doesn't
Because
yet?
of the COVID. Yeah.
Oh, because of COVID.
Yeah, and if we would have had her take her test, she would have had to have 28 hours. Like, say she took it now in November, she would have had to have another 28 hours of class time by June 30th. Which they're not being offered that much. They're just finally starting to get
They're
some.
not even doing anything virtually?
They are starting now.
They are starting now?
Yeah,
finally.
me and Pam just did our youth pap and, they're doing the conference virtually. So I'll be sending something up for that.
Okay. So your dues and memberships are the only thing we have on here that any big increase. Your minor computer hardware, you had nothing in last year's budget, $3,800. So let's touch real quick just what that 3,800 covers.
Kim, was new computers, it looks like two, I don't know, a new computer is needed where you certify the UPI numbers.
Yeah, we
Oh,
started
okay.
doing that with the recorder of deeds where people can file the deeds right online and it comes to us to be certified. But that computer is so old that it's gonna
Okay.
crap out with this.
Anything else in your budget that you see any major changes or anything? Or
No, it was,
projections?
it was hard to do this one because you don't know with the COVID and
Yeah, we understand.
we tried to do what we could.
Okay. You're getting out there, getting assessments done yet?
Yeah.
You're getting out there, okay. I don't have any other questions for Kim.
No.
No, and I should say not as much as we usually do because we got Dawn down there.
Right,
And there's been days Mariah's been down at election and Kathy. So we're getting out when we can.
that's a priority right now, so. Okay, so as long as you can keep up with it, especially with your appeals, you have a lot of appeals yet this year?
We haven't this week yet. And that's about it. And we had more than usual. But those could be the ones
Reason
going
why?
up too.
What's going up?
It could be ones going up too. We don't know till they're all done. It's school districts are appealing again.
Question now with the sudden influx of a lot of outsiders coming into the Penn Forest area, their township areas and buying homes and that. School districts still appealing those taxes?
Only Panther Valley, Weatherly. That's it, Panther Valley.
Just those
Weatherly.
two right now. Okay. Okay. Anything else for Kim, Jeff? You're good? You guys are good? Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too, thanks.
Thank you. Let us know if anybody else is sitting out there.
Tim.
Who's that?
Tim is here.
Tim?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come on, Tim.
It might be more than a half hour anyway, so. Hey, if you want to sign hot seat, you want to pull the door shut a little bit more because of people in the hallway, not to keep the public out or anything.
It's a lot.
That looks good. Okay, and now we have Tim Fritz, prison warden, with us to go over prison budget request. Tim, this has nothing to do with personnel issues today whatsoever, so that's for another date with the salary board. So Well, if you want to go over some of your major requests and items that you see coming up in your next year's budget, where we're going to see a big increase, probably with the COVID and things went down and the amount of inmates and some of our costs went down, but with the courts picking back up and having more court sessions, an increase in civil cases and criminal, I suspect we'll have a huge increase this year, so.
The biggest things that are in my budget are obviously capital improvement items such as the roof is 26 plus years old, is leaking quite a bit. There's two possible scenarios that we could do with the roof. We had a company come in and give us some estimates, and one would be a total roof replacement, which would cost anywhere between $450,000 and $600,000. There is another system that they had went over with us called a GEICO system, where they would cut out the bad spots of the roof and replace them, and then put a sealant over top, which would be about half the price, somewhere around $300,000.
Isn't that just a Band-Aid?
No, it's not. It does have a 15-year warranty. And it's something later on down the road, once that 15 years is up, if no other spots, became bad, then it would just basically be a seal over top of it again. And, it would probably be less even than $300,000, 15 years from now, if it would, something would happen with it.
Yeah, but Tim, aren't we then just going under the assumption that our original roof is gonna last 35 years? And probably unlikely,
Yeah,
right?
true.
So you're thinking, what was the amount in this case?
The company, they didn't do an on-site visit, they did it through a virtual Google map and looked at the roof, and they gave us an estimate anywhere between $425,000 to $600,000 for a total replacement.
Did they use our mapping system?
I don't. They did divulge that.
Oh, you want a discount for that or what?
No, we're gonna charge them.
Oh.
Send them a bill.
The second thing I had is our system that opens and closes the doors inside the facility as well. Again, this is the original system that's there. It currently works on a rocker switch system, which is obsolete now at this point. It's hard to find switches. Again, we do have some that we found in California, a couple years ago, that we're kind of depleting that. That would change us over to a new system, which would be computerized, where an individual would request a door to be opened. They could either do it through radio contact or push the call button alongside of the door. If they would push the call button alongside of the door, it would bring that camera up for that door and show who's at the door. And then the individual working central control would be able to open the door via a touchscreen system in central.
Where's that in your budget, Tim?
In equipment.
I had that under equipment.
Yep. He's got 525 in, Chris, which is 3 for the, he had put in 3 for the
300
roof
Yeah.
and 225
Oh, for the central panel.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that CSI that has that? now?
Currently, CSI was the company that replaced all our intercoms last year. I would request that we utilize the same company because everything would then be able to be looped together, that when the individual pushes the button for the intercom, it would link up with the system to open the doors as well.
And you'd have to bid it, and you just put that in the bid specs, that it's gonna be required that it be linked. Which I think other companies could probably link it together, so, but you're gonna have to bid it, so. Unless they're on
Steve?
state contract,
They are.
which they are. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
they
the
are.
roof also is too.
I didn't
Yeah.
get that from that and confirm that from that individual or not. Larry did have another individual that came and actually did an on-site look at the at the roof about 3 weeks ago and was supposed to get us a bid, and we haven't heard anything back from him
I
as of
think they
yet.
were looking at this roof too.
Mhm.
You, one of the things I didn't see here on the list really was the water treatment system. I know we upgraded everything, hopefully a lot better, but in hopes of upgrading the water system and hiring a consultant to oversee our water treatment right now. So that would be under engineering services, maybe?
Well,
That's
that,
almost 1,000 a month, I think.
yeah, and that
I don't know if
actually,
you're aware of that, Jeff.
Nope.
I did send you an email, Jeff, probably a couple weeks ago on that. That Emery Tough was hired at 900 and,
40 a month or something like
right,
that.
965 a month.
55.
And obviously this happened at the, I think the October 8th meeting of the commissioners, which my budget was already in by then, so I did send an email. I don't know if you saw it yet or not, Jeff, but
I have to look back.
Yeah, no, so that'll be roughly another 11 to 12,000, just for that
right.
consultant alone, with whatever other recommendations he may come up with to ensure we're, delivering, meeting DEP standards.
Yeah, we did have a meeting with DEP Wednesday of last week, and everything went rather well. Rodney is working with Emery to get everything updated as far as the numbers. Rodney and Alan are both signed up to do an online class to become certified, and then, Emery's gonna help them with that as well. And, hopefully this is something we don't have to do all next year, having Emery on board, that we
And
can.
how long is it gonna take Ronnie to get certified?
It's hard to say. Right now, there are not any classes, or not any exams scheduled for next year to take the certification test. We haven't heard anything, but, we're gonna stay in close contact with DEP and make sure, once they start holding the exams, it could be as little as 3 or 4 months before they may be ready to take the exam.
So is that included under the training request, to have training and seminars?
Yeah, the exam only costs, I think, $65 or something like that. We have plenty of money in the training request for that.
But, no, here it's, only, $600 requested for training?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna cover that, plus your CEO training?
Oh, my CO training is free.
It's free?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So what was in the engineering services then? Well, you have for 15,000. That does not include this Emery, correct?
No.
Depends on, you have nothing built in there, should, I'm not sure where to come out if we proceed with number 2 well, and having that as the backup well, because if our population goes back up, it's getting close to maximum on number 1 well, and should we need the backup, we're gonna need some possibility of some water treatment there, other than the normal stuff because of the high sulfur, et cetera, so.
Yeah, I did not build anything into that for doing any improvements to well too.
Not sure how long it's gonna take for the prison population to go back up to where it was, but.
And basically, pre-COVID, we were at 235. We were as low as 155, and today's count is 185. So
Going up
it's
fast.
went up by 30 inmates within the last couple months.
I think the current work on well number 2 is coming out of capital. You can check. That's where it's coming out of.
All the water right now is.
Okay.
It's coming out of capital, yes. All the water issues.
Okay.
Which is where the roof and the central control panel will end up being put to, so,
Yeah.
coming out of capital.
vehicle.
We have a 2008 Dodge Charger up there that has about 135 to 140,000 miles on it. Is beginning to rust, and not at this point giving us any issues. However, all our other vehicles are currently under the county's lease program, and I just requested that we take care of that vehicle as well for this year. I had it in last year's budget. I had for 2 vehicles in last year, was approved for 1, and still kept the Charger for this year yet. So that's our last remaining vehicle to be taken care of, that the county actually owns in our at the prison.
Your recommendations go ahead, get it under the enterprise lease agreement.
Yes.
I think that's all I have, Nick, Tim. You got anything, Rocky? Have anything else, Tim, Jeff?
He had in for 2 lawnmowers. I thought, were you approving lawnmowers?
We did. We bought a riding mower and had enough money in one of our other accounts that we just covered it with that, so.
So both of those come out, or no?
No, it was just one riding mower that we ended up purchasing. The other lawn mowers, they were able to fix and are in good working order. So at this point, I decided
So
not
we
to.
can take those out, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Tim, would the body scanner not be something we have in your budget?
No, that money was approved through the prison board to be taken out of the commissary fund, so
So we
when we
don't,
purchase that, we'll just simply write a check to the
Okay.
treasurer's office and
Yeah.
then have,
okay.
put it in that budget item.
Are we gonna get that yet this year?
Hoping to, yes. As soon as I sent the items down for approval, and then once I get the signed copies back, I will send them off to New Tech to have them sign off on, and we'll get the ball rolling. So hopefully that should be taken care of by the end of the year. There will be a little process, obviously, of getting a policy together and stuff, which I've started working on, and talking with other facilities on that, so.
Okay,
All right,
that's it?
Thanks.
All right,
thank you.
The GIS is not scheduled till what, 10:30 now, so we, gonna take a couple minutes, call them to come up, move them up 15 minutes, maybe take a quick break and maybe change the recorder. Okay, sound good?
Whatever you wish. You guys are the bosses.
Okay, we'll take a 15-minute break or so, we'll be back at 10:15. Wonder if she needs another tip or whatever. I'll ask her.
Hey, there's a guy who looks like Jerry.
Stay with it.
Right.
We're not gonna get any snow, so.
Hey, oh, did you see that Friday
Oh,
was supposed
he,
to
he
snow?
had an increase, I'll pay you $5. I forgot to tell you that part.
Do I have to,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, everybody else did.
Okay.
Oh, you're done anyway. No.
okay, you ready? Okay, we're live?
Yep.
Okay, our next, budget meeting is with, GIS, Jason Shellhammer. Jason, this is, just for the record, this is being recorded and it is not for personnel reasons at all. So, if you wanna go over your budget request and anything in there that, out of the ordinary or projected additional expenses for the year above last year's budget.
All right. So there are two non-typical or non-standard requests. And the first is for what's called a GeoSlam. And what that GeoSlam is a three-dimensional modeling and two-dimensional modeling piece of apparatus that essentially allows us to inventory and collect any and all infrastructure that we deem to be of high priority, whether that's for public safety, whether that's for planning purposes at the county level. Okay, and then also personnel request for a GIS specialist.
Jason, on the
That's a
Geo.
personnel.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so,
no,
okay, I'm sorry.
personnel.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
on the GeoSlam, then, what is the continuing maintenance fee in the out years after the initial year?
Okay, so there are some things as far as the desktop portion of that goes, and those are more specific numbers that I can get to you. I will get those to you. But there is something called Trimble SketchUp that allows the 3D modeling to be made available as a consumable model in our mapping. That is something I didn't know about yesterday, so I have those numbers coming in. I will get to you all recurring costs, but that should be, all those things should be in the current quotes that we have.
So that's 19,925, but.
Okay.
So you're saying that's covering multiple years of software upgrades and that? Or no?
What's specific?
All right, so the GeoSlam, the number you have down there, is that just for purchase of the hardware? Or does that include all the software you need? Again, it's a total package approach, plus quote unquote the maintenance, which is really the software upgrades for future years?
Stand by.
Okay.
Chris, could you, are we looking at the green sheet?
No.
On your sheet,
No.
under equipment, you have 19,925 for Geo Slam projects. What Chris is asking is that the base fee and then is there a maintenance fee on top of that on an annual basis going forward? Your request says, please see attached documents, which of course there was no attached documents, because it's in the computer. And I looked through and I didn't see any attached documents anywhere. So I guess we're asking, what's the ongoing fee on an annual basis?
Okay, so that's going to be anything software related, which I will, sorry. Have to furnish you those numbers.
Okay.
Okay, if I could have an opportunity to just get those numbers up to you for any recurring costs, but the cost here are really are the equipment. You know, as far as anything that's recurring, that's going to be software based. Like I said, the There's something called Trimble SketchUp, that has a recurring cost, I believe that's $300 a year, but I want to get you specific numbers, so I'll have to do that, so I apologize for that.
Because I think, Jason, the problem I have, I thought its capability is good, but I just see the manpower requirement is extensive. The collecting of the data, all those, the data points, again, it's a walk through a building. But the cleanup or editing of the information to make it usable seems very manpower intensive. And so that takes a very shallow office in personnel, which is yourself and Fran. I don't know with all the other priorities that are placed upon you, how you could actually manage and maximize this system. I just see it sitting on the shelf or distracting you from maybe other priority tasks.
Yeah, and it looks like you can scan the whole building in a day, but then it takes you a month to clean everything.
Clean it up and get it, make it
And now,
usable.
are there other systems like this, or?
So, just a couple things there. So the scanning process, obviously you saw that was pretty time desirable. When you are completed with that and you have the deliverables that you download, there are widgets inside of that software, such as what we would call vertices and line generator. So it puts all the natural lines on. Yes, you do have to snap some vertices together to have your end product, but it's not as if you're coming in with a blank slate, where you have to sketch out that whole drawing. So, so there is smart features inside of the software that greatly assist you in that. So if you have very good lines, you have a very good collection, those lines are going to be much more bang right on. So very little maintenance. So it's not a complete free draw from hand in no way. So, right. And as far as is there other similar technologies? Nothing that we have seen. So.
I mean, it looks like something that's really nice, but is it gonna be too time consuming for you? I mean, there's a lot of other things with.
Right. So I mean, I think the best approach to something like that is I don't think in any situation, no matter what the office is or what the desire is, that there's an expectation to catalog an entire environment in a very short period of time. I think the most critical things are identified, cataloged, and put into play, and let the emergency management folks decide what that is. But I just want to, before that's totally scrapped as an idea, I just do want to recall something here that I think that is absolutely imperative, and this is not my statement. It says emergency management is responsible for coordinating the available resources to deal with emergencies and effectively tasked to help save lives and avoid injury and minimize economic loss. I can't think of any situation where we can have a quick deliverable on a model of any critical infrastructure. So if we have an active shooter, I can't see a good reason for passing up an item that could very well model those structures. That's just my opinion. And, we are in an era where active shooters and things of this nature are greatly increasing. And I think we have the technology there to, make ourselves a little safer.
The problem is, we as the county, we would be going out and doing everyone's facilities, and it's gonna be on our dime, our personnel expenses, et cetera. That's what really the issue is, and I think we all fully understand the value of it, but at this point in time, with the cost and that, and the additional manpower required to track or to put all this together and maintain it is a major issue. It's one of those, so we can never plan enough for any situation like that, because, and it's also valuable, but, we can only do so much as a problem.
Well, and it just, last bit I would say too, is I realize that, for budgeting purposes, that it's, you know, it's not cheap, but, we're looking at multiple funding avenues, you know, such as, grants, 911 grant. We're looking at a safe school grant next year, possibly could, acquire that next year. So I don't think that the, granted, don't always have the opportunity to go and collect everything right away. That's something to totally discount for the future, possibly.
No, and I don't think we're doing that. That's just right now, and I don't know if is a service at the possibly in the future that if the school district or any other entity would, a municipality or whatever would be, wants it, and then I think there's a cost attached of
Right.
having that done.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't go out and do everyone's work for them.
Okay.
The aerial mapping, that was done in 18, correct?
That was, our first flight was flown in 2018, and we had a 3-year payment. That 3-year payment has almost been cut in half. Where our second flight is coming this fall, I'm sorry, this spring,
Spring.
2021. And so there will be a nice savings from our budget there.
From what it was previously.
Correct.
That was a contract too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I thought it was over though. I thought we did 3 years already. That's why I was asking.
We did 3 years on the first flight. The first flight was done, and that included a change finder, building footprints, and an aerial image capture with oblique images. Then there is a second flight. There's 2 flights total in that contract. The second flight, there is no building footprint capture. There is no change finder attached to that. It's the second flight. Very much discounted rate from the previous flight.
So Jason, if we go back a couple of years here, when you proposed the overflight, I know there's a lot of talk about a return on investment to the county. Where are we with that return on investment?
Okay, so when you go out and do the change finders, we took very good research from other counties. The principal county that we focused out on quite a bit was Lawrence County, very similar to us in many respects. And it wasn't the only county we talked to, but we had expected to see some good results. I know our tax assessors have been going out in the field and taking a look at things. As far as the actual values, that would be something I would have to take a look from Kim Stagwell on and see what we have. But I think there has been some parcels that we have gotten the full picture on. I don't have those specific numbers for you. But the thing is, what you should know on a capture like that, there is no way for me or anyone to give you a concrete answer on what that, how many you are going to find. One of the biggest reasons that imagery was necessary was there was an opportunity to get a return on investment. A return on investment. Aerial imagery, as is, there is not an expected return on investment. This was an additional thing that you could get with the hopes that you would catch some things that you were missing. Now, they didn't just come as a change finder. That also had to create a package of building footprints. So if we got nothing out of the change finder, we got building footprints. So there is a value in that, and that is used for lots of good uses in our GIS system. So we definitely have gotten some things in the change finder. Maybe it's not as much as we would like, but I don't know the specific numbers. I'd have to look at that. And but we had 2008 imagery, and I could go through a litany of things that were missing from our aerial. Everywhere from PennDOT bridges in Perryville to solar parks in Nesquehoning. And so there was things that when we were looking at an aerial image, we didn't have a complete picture of what we were looking at. And those images were not gonna just come to us from any source without us, spending capital to get them. So, I mean, yes, that was a hope there, but it was also filling a significant need. That was, over a decade old.
I'd agree with Chris. We haven't seen the return on the investment like we were led to believe that it would be certainly paid for itself in a time frame. So just not happening. But I agree, we did need it in 2018, and the other one was so old. But
Jason, have you seen other, and again, I love that discussion, because I think it was absolutely necessary to see the upgrade. But I've seen other organizations, US government organizations, simply use Google Earth to get those same footprints paid for.
I'm not so certain about that because in our area, it's a deciduous foliage county. And so and we are a rural county. So when you're looking at a building footprint, you have to see the building. So in our case, Google is not seasonally flying specific.
Right, which
So-
you guys targeted specific to when there was
Right,
the leaf
so
vegetation.
they only
That's
fly
good.
leaf off.
Good.
So it's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we maximized what you could out of that, that's good. So aerial photography, geoslam, those were the two big ones, right?
that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Jason? Okay, thanks Jason for coming up.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Donna.
Good morning.
Move yourself up to the hot seat. First of all, and you just missed it when Jason came in, not a personnel meeting today, salaries or anything like that. So that's for another meeting with salary board. So when we introduced Donna General, it was the tax or the recorder deeds office. So, Donna, wanna go through your request, anything out of the ordinary, what your projections are, and how things are going?
Things are going well. I don't really have any large requests. Just the public computers for next year. They have to be replaced. They're still Windows 7, so we need an upgrade.
Is there that one that was Windows 7 yet, or were there more?
There's 4 public computers that are Windows 7.
Okay, 4 of those.
I mean, right now we have 4. We did have 5, but we sort of spaced them out for
And
social
so you'll probably
distancing.
just stick with 4?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Copiers, is there, you don't have any?
Donna, you're paying for the computers out of the improvement funds?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, that's the other thing, okay.
There are 2 scanners that might need to be replaced. They're getting old, but they're good quality scanners. We like the way they work. We'd rather keep them if we can, so it's one of those up in the air things. If they go next year, we'll replace them. If not, we'd like to keep them.
Office supplies forms? Is that, that cost of the folders and that doubled, or, no, I'm somewhere else, I believe?
No, this is, no. She had it for it went up from 2,100 to 5,000 in office supplies and forms, and it's the toner and cartridges for the 2 new copiers.
Yeah, they're $1,000 a piece. So.
Yeah, that's, okay.
So therefore, that's for the 2 new copiers you're looking to buy down
Yes.
under minor equipment.
Yes.
Okay.
See an increase of deeds being recorded in it,
Yes.
big increase.
I wouldn't say big increase, but there has been an increase. I'm
So-
sure we're gonna be seeing an increase in the next couple weeks or months. Because the title searchers keep telling us that they're very busy, so,
Yeah, they're selling a lot
Yeah.
of houses and
yes.
pretty soon they'll all be gone and then it'll be relaxed again.
Yep.
So Don, is there any expectation of increased fees?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I would like to raise the UPI fee from $10 to $15.
Mhm.
And I will be bringing it up at one of the board meetings in the future. I have an ordinance that's being revamped, sort of.
Mhm.
I have Dan looking at that now. That I'd like to do by at least January.
Effective January,
Yeah,
yeah, well, probably, do we need a notice on that?
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say at least 30 days, but I'm not sure, 60
You're gonna,
days.
we'll have to ask your solicitor that maybe, and if we're gonna make it effective January 1st, we,
If it's an ordinance, yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna have to do that before the end of November to be safe. Make it effective January, so if we wanna proceed with that, I'd say go ahead.
Like I said, I just sent a copy to Dan this morning.
Okay.
So Angela drew it up, my solicitor, and I was waiting on Bob Fricklin to look over it. And then I
Okay.
just sent it to Dan, so he said he was gonna look at it today.
Okay. Good. Anything else?
Nope.
Good. Okay. We have anything else? Jeff, anything for
Nope.
tonight? Thank you. Thank you for taking it.
Thanks, Doug. Don't tell her that.
Thank you for taking what?
Just taking it easy on her. She'll be back now.
Tried.
She'll want a second opinion.
Let us know if Kayla's out there then.
Okay,
If not, we'll call her quick.
all right.
Yeah, real early. I
They're
did give
40
her a
minutes
heads
ahead of
up.
time, I don't think it was gonna be sitting out there.
I doubt it.
I came in and sat and listened.
I called her to give her a heads up.
Oh, okay.
It'd be early.
Not yet.
Oh, did you call Kayla too?
Pardon?
Did you call Kayla?
Yeah, I told her it'd be probably earlier, so if, I
Okay.
wanna give her a call quick at 3060, see if she can come over now. I should've called her when we, started with Donna.
Yeah. She almost did nothing.
Nothing really.
Hey,
did.
Kayla.
Doesn't look too bad.
Kayla, is this Kayla?
Down to 60.
You dialed the wrong number.
No, it was, they're answering, but they don't.
The phone system is.
What is it?
around
What is
courthouse.
it again?
060.
06, what is it?
3060.
3060.
It's not come over there.
It's her, but
Good morning, for the auditor's office.
Kayla,
Yes.
this is Rocky.
Hi.
We're done early if you would like to come over.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
It was her, it's just, maybe I need a hammer for the phone.
Hearing aid.
Don't say that.
She doesn't have much either.
No.
Monetary didn't have much. Craig could have just done her over the phone. For her to waste her time walking over here.
So this is you updated everything already for IT, right? Is that what this is?
No, that
no,
is Jerry's
just
proof
gave-
that he had it in,
Yeah,
but
Right.
somewhere it disappeared. He didn't save it before he advanced it or something, I'm not.
Okay,
So that's just Jerry, that gives you the number for what he was talking about. He had 60 in, going back to IT, he had 60 in for the website, 55 in for tax assessment, and 30 for that video and file storage server thing, along with 18,000 for the high-speed printer. Hey, when Jerry's budget came in, he didn't have anything in the 8,000 range, I was a little worried, so. 'Cause I've never seen that from Jerry before, so. comes out of capital project fund anyway, most of that.
So although it's only a minor software upgrade, that comes out of our automation fund. I see like $375.
For Kayla?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much anything that relates to automation of the office can come out of the automation fund. Just like with Donna, for public computers and things like
Right,
that,
yeah.
so it can come out of there. So,
So is prison, sheriff, and courts historically where the big requests come from, Wayne?
No, well, yeah, they're the biggest
Yeah.
ones, other than children and youth,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
the
yeah.
issues there,
Yeah.
and that's,
Yeah.
we don't have too much control over
Right,
that
yeah.
in particular.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, actually, for
well, not
children and
much
youth-
over to prison as well. And
Yeah.
and this is supposed to be sending me an update for children and youth, by the way.
Yeah,
She emailed me the other day, they met with the state about their budget and they're having them hire more people.
Yeah.
So I asked, she had emailed me, I said, well, just send it over and I'll update your budget, but I need to know where she's paying, what revenue's covering it too, so. I haven't received that from her yet, so, but you know that.
well, it's gonna be 20% for each employee, so. No request for 5, but it's the ability to fill the positions on top of it.
5 new people? We're having you hire?
And that.
Caseload, because of the caseloads, it's just out of hand over there, I mean,
Okay.
especially with COVID and everything else.
Come on in.
Kayla, morning, Kayla. Come up and have a seat here. Oh, either way.
Oh,
We
sorry,
can't
where
see
did you want me to
it.
go?
Come on this
Okay,
side,
okay.
Tom.
This is the one that has wires connected to it.
And that's one of the shockers.
Morning, now we have with us Kayla Semmel, our prothonontary. Kayla, before we even start this, has nothing to do with personnel issues today. That'll be later meetings with the salary board if there are any personnel issues. So you want to go over the request in your budget that may be out of the ordinary. I would say anything that is above normal for your operations, et cetera, in your office.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, here we go. Association dues, and that's something that's just, you know,
Yeah, I don't have any control.
forms, cost
No.
of forms, printing and duplication. I see the major really
No.
under budget.
No.
No, I'm actually under, compared to previous years. So I tried to cut costs where I could.
Mhm. We appreciate that.
And also, I did want to note too, in the budget, I did request $8,500 for new computers, but because we were able to save some money and do that budget transfer, that's not needed in this year's budget either. So it'll be decreased by another $8,500 as well.
Okay. Another question for you. The notation you had in where your, oh, here it is, under your printing duplication, you have an increase in civil filings. You had an averaging, an increase in 170 cases per month. Is that above what we normally have?
Yes, you're getting, right now we're getting a lot of landlord-tenant appeals coming in because people aren't paying on their rent. So we're getting a lot more of those cases, a lot of judgment cases. People aren't paying their school taxes, their municipal taxes, things like that, their association dues.
So we're getting a lot more of those types of filings. And then there's a lot more court orders coming down because we have a lot more court orders coming down on custody cases, divorces, PFAs, things like that. So I did cut the cost on postage, but asked for a little bit more money for printing because we're generating more forms, but we're not sending out packets anymore. And that's where a lot of costs were coming. It's a lot cheaper to send out one piece of paper than a packet of 10 pages. So that's why the difference there.
Anything else out of the ordinary that you can think of for your budget requests or future budgets?
No?
So Kayla, there was nothing for staff training and seminars, nothing's programmed?
No.
Really?
Not even, well,
The only thing that I thought about doing in the future is when we do our seminars, the office holder, it would be nice to take a deputy along to that seminar. And I think it should be rotated, your first deputy, second deputy, according. I didn't put that in this year's
Right.
budget because I know it's financially hard right now with COVID and everything else going on. But looking towards the future, that's something that I would like because I think it's good for them to have that training.
Yep, yep.
okay, we'll have to look at that. Okay. And no other training and, okay. I don't think I have any other questions.
Okay,
Well, thank you for coming over.
you're welcome.
Thanks.
If you need anything else, just let me know.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Hey, did you hire the passport person yet?
We are actually still reviewing applications. We want to make sure that it's a qualified individual, so we're really
Did you get quite a
screening.
few?
We did. We have
Yeah.
about 12 applicants right now,
Good.
so. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll, I guess we can
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Adjourn because we are scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.